You know, is there a creator has to be one of the biggest questions humanity has ever asked. In this explainer, we're going to dig into an argument that tries to tackle it, but not just with faith. It uses logic and observation. So let's dive right in. Okay, so the whole argument kicks off with something kind of strange, a real paradox when you think about it. Take a look at the US dollar bill. America, right? Arguably the most scientifically advanced nation on Earth. And what's printed on every single bill? In God we trust.
So that brings us to the big question the author wants to explore. Why? Why would a nation built on science and technology put that on their money? Is it just, a tradition they forgot to get rid of? Or is there something more to it, some deeper logic at play? Well, that's exactly what we're going to unpack today.
All right, first up, let's get into the core of it, what the author calls the argument from perfect design. The basic idea is this. For life, for us, to even exist, literally tens of thousands of things had to be just perfect. We're talking unbelievable precision. I mean, just think about it for a second. The sheer number of things that have to be exactly right. You've got the big stuff, the cosmic scale, right? The sun, the moon, the way our planet orbits. But then you zoom in to the environment, to biology itself. The author's whole point is that these aren't just random things happening. No, they're all part of this super intricate system. It's like a finely tuned watch, and if you pull out just one tiny gear, the whole thing could just fall apart. So to really drive this home, the author wants us to do a little thought experiment. What would happen if we just nudged one of these perfect conditions? Just a tiny little change. Let's walk through a few of the what-if scenarios they came up with.
Okay, what if the Earth took 48 hours to rotate instead of 24? So a 2-day long day. It sounds kind of wild, right? Well, the author points out it would be a complete disaster. One side of the planet would literally bake for hours and hours, while the other side would plunge into a deep, long freeze. Most life just wouldn't survive.
Or how about this one? What if, poof, all the oceans turned into fresh water? You might think, hey, great, no more salt. But actually, it'd be catastrophic. It would completely wipe out marine life. And guess what? Those ecosystems are what regulate our climate and make a huge chunk of the oxygen we breathe. The entire web of life would just unravel. Okay, now let's get biological. Imagine if predators, like tigers, were as smart as we are. Can you picture that? The whole balance of nature would be thrown into chaos. Our spot at the top of the food chain, yeah, that would be seriously up for grabs. It would completely change human history as we know it. And this line of thinking goes right down to our own bodies. The author gives these really jarring examples like, what if our eyes were on the back of our heads? Or what if our nostrils pointed straight up to the sky? It sounds ridiculous, but that's the point. It's meant to show that even the way we're built is part of this incredibly functional design. So after walking us through all these what-ifs, the author brings it all together. Their conclusion? The universe and everything in it, it all works like a single, flawless system. From the stars down to our skeletons, it's all precise, it's all rigorous, and it's all connected. And this all builds up to the central question of the entire argument. I mean, think about it. You see a watch, you know someone made it, right? You see a car, you know there was a designer. So the author asks, does it really make sense to look at this infinitely more complex system, the entire universe, and just say, yep, that all happened by accident?
Okay, so let's say you follow that logic. If there is a designer, then the obvious next question is, who or what is the creator? This is where the author starts to define the nature of this designer.
And here's the definition the text gives us. It calls this being the greatest creator. And it's not just about making stuff. This is the wise being that created the universe, all things, and the laws that run it all, the rules of physics, biology, you name it. To flesh this idea out a little more, the author lays out 8 key characteristics. The creator is unique and has no physical form. It's neutral, mysterious, but also just and benevolent. And of course, it has supernatural power and ultimate wisdom. So that's the profile of the designer we're talking about here. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. The author connects this idea of a single creator to the major world religions. The argument is that whether you call this being Jehovah, like in the Bible, or Allah from the Quran, or even Buddha, Tathagata from Buddhist scriptures, they're all just different names for the same essential thing. One essence, many names. All right, so if we've got this creator, then what about us? Where do we fit in? The next part of the argument shifts from what is the creator to so what does that mean for humanity? It's all about our relationship with this designer. And according to the author, this relationship has 4 main parts. First, our spiritual essence, our very soul, comes from the Creator. Second, the entire universe was provided for us.
basically for us to enjoy. Third, and this is a big one, the Creator doesn't ask for anything in return. And finally, for those who believe, there's the hope of future realms after this life.
This quote really sums up the whole idea of our dependence on the Creator. It says, without the greatest Creator, there would be no us. We would have no way to enjoy a happy life. So in this view, everything, life, happiness, our very existence, is a gift. It's all a direct result of this benevolent act of creation.
And this all builds to a final, really powerful point. The argument moves from philosophy and logic to a very real-world proposal, a proposal for achieving global harmony and peace.
The author makes a really sharp observation here. If all these major religions are basically talking about the same Creator, then why have they been the source of so much conflict throughout history? The answer, according to the text, is that the different names and different rules have created these artificial divides between people, and those divides have led to war.
So what's the solution? Well, it's pretty radical, but it's also incredibly simple. Standardize the name. The author proposes one single, unified title for everyone to use, and that name is Allah, the greatest creator, the source of all Buddhas. You can see it's intentionally blending terms from different major faiths. The whole idea is to bridge those gaps. And that's the final, really thought-provoking question the author leaves us with. It's a big one. Could a shared name for a creator actually foster human unity and peace? If we could all just agree on the language we use to describe the source of everything, could we finally move beyond the conflicts that have plagued us for centuries? Could a single name bring us all together? That's the question.